now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So glad that you guys are here with us this morning. My name is Deanie, and you're listening to VRL, that's Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeartRadio. I do have to say that this particular episode is pre-recorded, and I can't wait to deliver it to your inboxes. And for you guys who subscribe to the show, you'll be the first to know, and I always appreciate that. Before I bring my guest on, I do want to say that this is the frequency of the fearless. You know, children see the world with wonder, and sometimes the best way to nurture that wonder is through stories that teach, inspire, and entertain. Today's guest has dedicated her life to shaping young minds. First in the classroom, and now through books that blend imagination, education, and the love for animals. With every page, she shows children how to learn, grow, and care. You're not just here for a talk show, and this isn't just radio. This is revival for your mind, body, and spirit. This is Vigilantes Radio Live. My name is Coach Deanie, and change is possible. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's go. All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Deanie. Our interviews are designed to go beyond music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, spirituality, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these brilliant people, you know, the ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she has spent her life nurturing children's growth, from running a daycare to writing stories that spark imagination. Barbara J. Meredith is an author of the beloved Daisy and Friends book series, inspired by her own pets and years of teaching. Her latest title, Waiting for the School Bus, blends playful storytelling with educational lessons while also supporting animal rescue organizations. Barbara shows us how books can be both meaningful and magical. So please join me in saying welcome, friend, to Barbara J. Meredith. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. How are you?
Very well, and yourself?
Doing good. Thank you for asking. So, Barbara, before we get into the details of your latest book, what's been on your heart and mind these days?
Oh, well, I've been thinking of all the shelters, animal shelters, and I donate to the shelters. And anyone that buys the books through Daisy and Friends also donate to the shelters. And there's 4 of them that I donate to, and it's the ASPCA and its Place of Connecticut, and Protectors of Animals of Connecticut, and Kitty Angels. And Kitty Angels is where I rescued Daisy.
Nice. I love that. So, Daisy and Friends began with your pets. What made you first look at them and think, this could be a children's book?
Well, actually, it was like a fluke. The Daisy and Friends How to Stay Healthy is part of the curriculum that I taught at Kids Express Learning Center and daycare. And my husband was in the hospital for many months. He had pancreatic cancer. And I was alone most nights. So I thought that I would take some of the curriculum and make it easier for the staff to teach the curriculum by putting it into a book form. And then I thought one night, well, what would happen if I sent it into publishers? And to my surprise, I didn't get any denials, because that's what I expected, because that's what I've always heard, that you get these 100 denials before someone picks it up. Well, no one denied me. So what I did was take the publisher that was meeting my needs at the time, because my husband was in the hospital. I had to travel 2 hours a day to see him, and also work and take care of the house, take care of the pets. And so it was a busy time for me, and I didn't think that I would be able to go out and do what's required of a new author. All the book fairs and all the little town fairs, tag sales, and all that. Because when my husband got out of the hospital, I was a sole caregiver. So that's how the book evolved, from curriculum to a children's book.
And you said inspiration comes from years of observing children. Do you have like one specific classroom moment that sparked an idea later that turned into a book?
Well, everything that the kids kind of did at the daycare, like looking out our window, it was part of the curriculum, but they were supposed to describe the season plus the weather for the day. And that's how looking out our window started. But I read it from a different aspect, as trying to teach kids the changing of the seasons and what the trees look like. In winter, there's no leaves. In spring, there's buds. And then in summer, they're full leaves on the trees. In fall, the leaves turn colors. So I kind of brought that idea into the book, Outside Our Window.
I like that. And Waiting for the School Bus introduces vehicles. Why did you choose transportation as the focus, and how do kids respond when they recognize these in real life?
Well, but it's also, it wasn't curriculum, but I did teach part of the curriculum, transportation. But it was a game the pre-K kids would do while they're waiting for the school-age kids to get off the bus. I had noticed that they would all stand up in a row in front of the windows and wait for the school bus. So I thought, well, we can turn this into a little game and a teaching moment. So I would say, as a vehicle approached, going by the daycare, what vehicle is that? Is that the school bus? And they would say no, and they'll give me a name of the vehicle, whether it was a car or a truck or a tractor trailer, because we were on one of the main roads. So we had a lot of traffic. And then when the school bus arrived, I would say, is that the school bus? And then all the kids would get excited and say, yes, it's the school bus. So it was kind of a game, and a rhyming game that we would play every day. So it turned into something fun. Yeah. And then what I did with the book, instead of just rhyming it, and I decided that we can take this particular book and turn it into a teaching moment by giving a description of what each vehicle actually does. Like a fire engine, it carries the firefighters and all the equipment to a fire and has everything that they need to put the fire out. So I kind of based it on a learning experience and fun. And all the dogs and the cat were my pets. Smokey was my Italian Mastiff. HD was a Rockwilder. And Rocky was a Shepherd. And for the first book, How to Stay Healthy, I followed, took me a year, I followed the dogs around with a camera, and they got used to having their picture taken. They actually turned into divas. And they, as they were acting things out, like when I was loading the dishwasher, the cat Daisy would climb on the door of the dishwasher and sit there while I put the dishes in. And so I took a picture of that and said she's helping cleaning the dishes. And then other pictures throughout the book was nutrition, and Rocky was the strangest dog ever, loved corn on the cob. And there's a picture of my husband holding corn on the cob and Rocky eating it, and I said, well, it's good vegetables. This is good nutrition, and kind of worked it into the nutrition theme. And when I did Stranger Danger, I had a friend sit in my truck, open the door, and Rocky ran right up to her. And I wrote that you have to be careful in parking lots, you have to be careful of people who you're meeting. If you don't know them, don't approach, get mom or dad or an adult. So that's how that book evolved and how I started using the animals.
And your first book used actual photographs of your pets, like you mentioned. They turn into divas. How did the move to illustrations change the feel of the series?
Well, I decided that I can't actually, like on Rocky's New Friend, I could not have photographs of the dogs going down to the dog park and playing at the dog park. So that's when I decided that I needed an actual illustrator. So from then on, I used an illustrator to help bring the story to life.
I love it. You've donated portions of your proceeds to animal shelters. Why is that cause so personal to you, and do you remember the first pet that you've rescued?
Well, I've been rescuing pets for many years. One time we had 6 cats that were feral. You know? I would tell my husband, I don't know where it came from, just walked in the door. And that was the first one, then the second one, and up to 6. I had 6 at a time. So I've always kind of rescued animals. And when my husband and I decided to get a kitten, we went to Kitty Angels, because we wanted an animal that was looking for a forever home. And that's how we got Daisy, by going to Kitty Angels. When my sister Laura decided that she wanted a cat. She went to Protectors of Animals, and I went with her, and I had the tour of the facility, and I liked how it was being run, so that's why I chose that one. And Bandit's Place is more than a dog-cat rescue. It has all animals, from rabbits to horses. Whatever someone can no longer take care of, they bring to their rescue. And it takes a lot of funding to be able to provide the veterinarian care they need, the food that they need, keep the shelter just running with electricity and everything, heat and everything else that the daily routine brings. So I thought if I took proceeds from my books, and I have been giving them checks, and I decided that would help them out somewhat. I won't be saving the shelters, but I would be doing a little more on my part other than just rescuing the animals, but helping them support the animals at the shelters.
Yeah. And oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. And Daisy and Friends, Waiting for the School Bus. That book is actually in its second edition, and I'm the publisher. And when I decided to be the publisher is because I used to have to, on the other books, I divide the profits three ways: the actual publishing company, myself, and the shelters. Well, if I decided if I go as my own publisher, I only have to divide the profits two ways, to the shelters and to myself. And I thought that would bring in a lot more funding than what I have been giving them.
I agree with that. Is that working?
Yes, it is. It is. And I've had, actually, I'm on Amazon's bestsellers list for Daisy and Friends Waiting for the School Bus.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So these interviews and helping shelters and everything has really helped the growth of my books.
Not only did you republish, Waiting for the School Bus under your own publishing name, how empowering was that decision?
Well, right now I feel like everything's surreal. I didn't think anyone would be interested in any of my books. Once I finish at book fairs and at town fairs, after all my relatives bought the book and all my friends and everyone that's in town, I thought that was going to be the end of it. I can not believe how successful my books are. And I think that's fantastic, and I'm in awe. I still can't believe it.
Nice. All right. Many of your books use educational lessons. How do you balance fun storytelling with the responsibility of teaching?
Well, like Rocky's New Friend, that's about bullying. And it was a subject that our town school system was having issues with, and they wanted to go zero tolerance. So I thought if I wrote a book to explain how to resolve problems as the person being bullied against the person bullying, without the adult supervision, it would also give the child being bullied some little more self-respect for himself, standing up to this person that has been making their life miserable. So that's why I wrote Rocky's New Friend. in most of these books, like, take a lot of thought and a lot of research. And I do spend a long time researching. But the book, Daisy and Friends, What Happened to Yesterday, a COVID-19 story, that just one day popped in my head. Took me 20 minutes to write, and then I did the research. It was such a difficult time for adults as well as the children. The kids went to school on a Monday, on a Friday, and on Monday, schools were closed and they were being homeschooled. And I thought this book would help at the time to reinsure their transition from a totally new lifestyle, from their old lifestyle, and why it was happening. And that's why I wrote What Happened to Yesterday. So now it's more of a historical book than a current times book, because it's just a reminder of what everyone went through during 2020 and how we had to change our lives and then turn everything around from being in isolation to back out in the public. And I want people to kind of understand that in the future, what really happened during that time and how did people live through it.
Yeah, strange time indeed.
Yes.
So looking back, what did running Kids Express Learning Center teach you about how children absorb stories?
Children love stories, and the more books we read to them, we would have a circle time. Mm-hmm. And the circle time would have a curriculum, like on one for a month, and 1 month it would be dinosaurs. So we would teach the kids all about dinosaurs, but we would also read stories about dinosaurs. We would have a story one day about the actual facts about a dinosaur, and then we would read the next day, probably read a funny book about dinosaurs. So I wanted kids to actually experience more than structure. I wanted them to understand that learning could be fun, and that brought everything to life by my goals to life by actually practicing what I wanted them to learn and how to learn.
All right. Your writing process often begins with poems and notes. Can you walk us through how an idea transformed from a note to a finished book?
Oh, well, it's really trying to decipher my notes. Because I would, I started Rocky's New Friend 3 years before I even thought about publishing it. So my notes were on little scraps of paper, and whenever anything popped in my head, I would write it down. And then when it came to trying to put the final product together, I had scratchings out, I had arrows from half a page up to the top of the page, or from the top down to the middle, and I had to kind of figure out what I wrote. Mm-hmm. And I think all authors go through that same thing when they're trying to make their final product. Yeah. It's just, that's the fun part. You know, I'm standing in line at the supermarket, and then all of a sudden I start writing. Mm-hmm. And people behind me getting annoyed. Move up, move up.
Like, wait, I have a thought.
Yeah, I can write this down.
Indeed.
Don't you know what I'm doing? I had no clue.
No clue. So looking forward, what's next for Daisy and her friends? More adventures, new characters, or a different style of story?
Well, I have two that I'm working on. One is very close subject to my family. It's the Alzheimer's, because I have quite a few family members that have it, and I wanted children to understand that it's still their grandparents. That hasn't changed. It's just their memory has. So I start that story. It's called "Grandpa. Why Does Grandpa Forget?" And there starts off with Grandpa taking the grandchildren out for ice cream, which he did every week. Nothing new, same place, same flavors. And all of a sudden, he couldn't remember how to get there. And then when he got there, he forgot how to order, and he was very confused. So I wanted to explain to kids that sometimes this is a normal aging process, and there's nothing you can do about it but give them understanding, love, and patience. And that's what I base that book on. The other book I'm writing is Smokey's New Necklace. We always call their collars necklaces and tell them how beautiful they looked when they got new collars. And it's about jealousy. Smokey gets the new collar, and Rocky doesn't. And Rocky's very, very jealous about that. Why didn't he get one when she got one? And it was the intention wasn't just to give Smokey the collar. It just happened to be she needed a collar. So it brings a child through jealousy stages. The jealousy, that then the collar breaks, the necklace. Rocky accidentally breaks it, and then brings him through remorse and regret. And then the book ends with forgiveness. That Smokey understood and forgave Rocky at the end of the story. And how, since they're family, little things like that doesn't interfere with the true love of a family.
Wow.
So those are the two books I have coming up.
All right. And where can our listeners connect with you on the internet and be on the lookout for these new books?
Well, I have a webpage. It's Barbara J. Meredith Books, all one word, .com. That bring you right to my website. And then online, Amazon's carrying it, Walmart's carrying it online, and throughout the country there's about 10 small individual bookstores that also carry my book. And it's being in bookstores in England, Ireland, Australia, and Germany. So it's easy to find, easy to get to. So if anyone wanted to purchase it, they just have to remember they're getting a book that's enjoyable, but helping animal shelters as well.
Absolutely. And listeners, just in case you need those links, I will have them in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click those links. Barbara J. Meredith reminded us today that storytelling isn't just about entertaining children. It's about guiding them, teaching them, and sparking joy. We explored how her pets became characters, why transportation was the theme of Waiting for the School Bus, her commitment to animal shelters, and her journey from preschool teacher to author. Barbara, your stories prove that education and compassion go hand in hand. So listeners, go pick up Daisy and Friends, Waiting for the School Bus. Follow Barbara's work and support the causes her books uplift. Be sure to subscribe to Vigilantes Radio, leave a rating, and share this episode with anybody who has children or just likes stories. Until next time, keep reading and keep caring. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace to all. My name is Deanie, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club, but there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you to get into. Life is short, but there are plenty of moments to try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tougher. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious. Or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.